In the small, forgotten town of Hollow Creek, there stood an abandoned asylum, a place of whispered legends and unspoken fears. For years, it had been left to decay, a monument to the horrors that once transpired within its walls. Locals avoided it, claiming the building was haunted by the spirits of the patients who had suffered there. One crisp autumn night, a group of friends, Sarah, David, Megan, and Josh, decided to explore the asylum. They had heard the stories and wanted to prove them wrong. Equipped with flashlights and a sense of bravado, they made their way to the dilapidated building. The asylum loomed in the moonlight, its broken windows and crumbling facade casting eerie shadows. As they stepped inside, the temperature dropped sharply, and a sense of unease settled over them. The air was thick with the smell of mold and something else, something metallic. They walked down the main hall, their footsteps echoing loudly. "Let's find the infamous Room 13, Josh suggested, his voice breaking the silence. Room 13 was said to be the epicenter of the asylum's darkest secrets. As they approached the room, the door creaked open on its own, revealing a space frozen in time. Rusty bed frames, torn mattresses, and ancient medical instruments littered the room. But what caught their attention was the large, blood-stained pentagram on the floor. David's flashlight flickered, and the air grew colder. Suddenly, the door slammed shut behind them, plunging them into darkness. The only light came from their flashlights, which began to dim one by one. Panic set in as they fumbled to find a way out, but the door wouldn't budge. A low, guttural growl echoed through the room, followed by a chorus of whispers. Sarah's flashlight caught movement in the corner. A figure, shrouded in darkness, with eyes that glowed a sickly yellow. The whispers grew louder, incomprehensible but filled with malice. "We need to get out of here," Megan screamed. But the figure stepped closer, its features becoming more grotesque. Its skin was pale and stretched tight over its bones, its mouth a gaping maw filled with razor-sharp teeth. The friends were paralyzed with fear as the figure reached out with skeletal hands. The room began to spin, and the walls seemed to close in. The whispers turned into screams, filling their heads with unbearable noise. One by one, their flashlights died, leaving them in complete darkness. In the pitch black, they felt cold hands grabbing them, pulling them into the void. Just as quickly as it began, the noise stopped. The door to room 13 creaked open, and the friends found themselves outside the asylum, gasping for breath. They looked at each other, their faces pale and eyes wide with terror. None of them spoke a word as they fled the grounds, vowing never to return. The next morning, they discovered deep scratches on their arms and legs, as if something had tried to drag them back. The asylum stood silently on the hill, its dark windows,